Garbage in, garbage out. If you want good output, you have to watch over the inputs. Consumption. What are you consuming? And what are you controlled by? As is commonly said about children, their minds are like sponges. Let us not be mistaken that our minds are any different. Your mind is saturated with the thoughts that run across your head. As was fittingly said by Marcus Aurelius, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Therefore, our minds and souls are as gardens. Feed them poison, and they shall rot. Feed them what enriches them, and they shall flourish. These gardens of ours, our minds and souls, these are our most precious things we have. No material is worth more than the righteous soul. No neglect is tolerable towards the creation and betterment of the wise mind. No tragedy is more regretful than the soul that lays defeated. However, this may be prevented. The salvation of the soul lies in the hands of the one that possesses it. And I have only ever seen the soul defeated by those who surrendered it. And there is only one condition of this surrender, that you only ever suffer and regret. My friends, this is not you and I. We, the people who seek to better ourselves in the pursuit of a life worth living, we stand united as people who are not just alive, but living. But, my friends, there are poisons that seek to weaken our resolve. There are wicked forces that profit from our suffering. These forces, knowing that to directly assault the soul is to face an indomitable resistance, resort to a more despicable and subtle means of siege. And that is precisely what it is. A siege upon the soul of humankind. These evil forces, wicked as they are, may only poison their host through subtle means. With these conditions upon the position we are in, we may know how to recognize and thwart these elusive parasites. There are two methods of siege for the social parasites among us: mental bombardment and physical weakening. A population that is blind is a controlled one. A demoralized population is a slave one. If you are blind to the truth, you follow lies. If you are demoralized, you don't have the spirit to stand up. This is the object of mental bombardment. This is the siegecraft that is so weak compared to honest and objective truth, that to combat the truth, it must make the truth elusive. This method is marked with information overload, a literal bombardment of information. This, in effect, does not discredit or refute the truth, but simply makes the truth unheard over the voices of chaos. The calm voice of reason often goes unheard under the loud cries of confusion. These agitators only serve to disorient. For if they are the only voices heard, who's to say they are not the voice of reason? And if you, the host of this parasite, do not even consider the source of the rhetoric and words you hear and see, you become a puppet. Puppets are beyond victims, and are truly the host to the parasites that appeals to their emotions. The person who cannot distinguish true from false only knows what makes them feel good and bad. Silence the truth by ignoring it, create your own truth in a flood of false information, and then make your truth the universal good and your opposition the universal bad. This is the method of mental bombardment. Aside from mental confusion of information bombardment, the wicked forces that be seek not only to confuse you, but to weaken your resolve and energy so that the ability of your body may not match the spirit of your resistance. If the confusion in your thoughts is coupled with the brain fog of the unhealthy body, you are in the most dire positions. It is here you must resist to your fullest capacity. It is here in your darkest hour where the soul shines the brightest. For in the darkest pits of despair, the soul emits its divine qualities. For the soul is created by the divine, and what is created by the divine may never be defeated, only surrendered. Thus, to thwart this method of siege against our vitality, we must call on the power of our will, because this method of siege is simply defeated by choosing the right fuel and portioning it to feed and nourish you. There is no delicacy sweeter than the healthy body. There is no delicacy sweeter than the healthy body. There is no dish more savory than the sharp mind. Eat for purpose, not pleasure. Enjoy the pleasures, however, but remember your purpose. The greatest strength of this siegecraft is temptation. Temptation will always be there to test our individual and collective resolve. Temptation will always offer everything we've ever wanted. However, these temptations always sell the pitch of peace for the price of your soul. How does one sell their soul? What does the defeated soul look like? These souls that are lost, they're the ones that suffer the most. In exchange for peace of mind and of inner peace, the defeated soul suffers because for the price of their comfort, they sold their peace. In exchange for peace of mind and inner peace, the defeated soul suffers because for the price of their comfort, they sold their peace. And this person is a fool. The fool searches for answers, but never uses them to find a solution. The fool embraces the problem, but not the solution. The fool suffers because they believe peace is beyond them. The fool binds his own chains so that he may escape them to only find new ones. Peace is beyond the fool because he does not want it. Ultimately, this is the siege upon our peace. To defend our peace, we must wage a war for the soul. This war, however, is not fought on any battlefield. May it stay that way if we can help it. But it is waged in the everyday life of you and me. All of us are faced with the decision to accept or discard information, to learn from what we like and to achieve a better understanding of what we dislike. Through the poisoning of our mind and body, both wit and the soul is weakened. However, the resistance that is weak is not the same as the resistance that is defeated. It is more noble and glorious to resist and die fighting than to surrender in shame. These are the thoughts that these methods of siege effort to produce in your mind. That no struggle is worth the effort, that the price of resistance is futile, that greatness is an object only for great people. The evil forces that wish to see you defeated have only one strategic object to accomplish such a task: that you believe you are separate from greatness. Remember, however, that your thoughts may only ever be assailed by outside forces, never conquered. In the whole existence of humanity, the soul has only ever been defeated by those who surrendered it. In the annals of history, the great people among us were great because they lived and died as such. Your peace, your honor, your dignity, your soul, these are the very things that are under attack. The very soul of humanity is under siege. Thankfully, though, the Lord has chosen his very best warriors to defend the soul of humanity. We people, the living, are the most important humans, as were our ancestors before they passed down the torch so that they may look down on us from the heavens. And so will be our descendants, for they will look up to us. The honor in our blood demands we defend the soul. The love in our hearts demands we defend the beauty of life. The reason in our minds demands that we know what is right. Greatness demands that we live greatly, because the excellence in your blood demands. Be the exemplar the present moment demands. Be great.